And take a look at this, a live look from the top of Clifford Hall. This is at the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks. Now, why are we showing this? Because about a dozen miles away sits several hundred acres of farmland, now at the center of an international controversy. And NewsNation correspondent Evan Lambert is live for us in Washington. So, Evan, why does this move by a Chinese company to buy this land have some, including members of Congress, concerned?
Well, Nichole, Chinese companies gobbling up U.S. farmland are leading to those growing concerns in Congress. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley telling NewsNation today it is important to protect not only our food production, but also national security. And here's that recent example. Chinese conglomerate Fufeng is building a corn milling plant in Grand Forks, North Dakota, just 12 miles from an Air Force base, which houses some of our top intelligence and surveillance capabilities. Chinese companies own nearly $2 billion worth of U.S. farmland, according to the USDA, and their ownership of land has increased dramatically over the past decade. Overall, it is still less than 1% of foreign-owned land. A U.S. agency charged with monitoring trade with China says the company that owns the North Dakota plant is not state-owned, but it does have connections to the Chinese government, and that the proximity of the land to the air base does prompt security concerns. We spoke to South Dakota Congressman Dusty Johnson about those threats.
I do a number of military installations. They do what they can to make sure that eyes in the sky don't peer down at what's going on that base. But the closer you allow the Chinese Communist Party to these bases, the more difficult it is for us to obscure the activity on those bases.
And Johnson introduced recently legislation that would prevent adversarial foreign governments from making purchases like this. He tells us he's hoping for more bipartisan support. There is also legislation pending in the Senate. Nichole?
All right, Evan Lambert live in D.C. Thank you for that. We are joined now by retired Army General and former Congressman William Enyart. General, thank you so much for being with us.
Good afternoon, Nichole.
All right, so we just heard Evan's report there. You know, and foreign governments buying U.S. land, even arguably unfriendly ones like China, it's certainly not unheard of. But do you think this particular sale raised alarms because of its proximity to a U.S. Air Force base?
Well, I think that's without a doubt, Nichole. You know, if it weren't within 20 miles of Grand Forks Air Force Base, it would have raised eyebrows, but it wouldn't have given rise to the concerns that it has. Grand Forks Air Force Base used to be much larger. It used to be a B-52 base, but it's now been downsized, and it's now flying reconnaissance drones. But nonetheless, I don't think the Chinese would like it one bit or would in any way allow us to build an industrial processing plant within 20 miles of one of their military bases.
Yeah, it certainly does not seem like something the U.S. Would be allowed to do in China. Now, you just mentioned that base there, home to some of the nation's most sensitive military drone technology. But we know because of that, it's obviously very highly guarded. You know, U.S. military bases certainly are not easy to infiltrate. We have excellent security. But what kind of threat could this Chinese company potentially pose to our national security?
Well, you know, we know that Chinese businesses are rife with industrial and other types of espionage. And that would be the largest concern, particularly if they had the ability to put electronic eavesdropping equipment in. It's a corn milling plant, which is a rather benign operation. But with the fact that the Chinese have been so diligent in working their industry to provide espionage for the Chinese Communist Party, we have to be concerned about that.
Well, you know, certainly you mentioned espionage there. You know, China and the U.S., you know, frequently are trading jabs. Is this an outlier, would you say, General, or is this maybe more of the typical back and forth sociopolitical hostility that occurs between two superpowers?
Well, you know, with the increasing aggressiveness or the increasing assertiveness of China in the South China Sea and its increasing territorial claims there and its very aggressive posture towards Taiwan, I think we see a gradual stepping up. And of course, what concerns us too is it's not just, now really their agricultural holdings are very small. They only have 192,000 acres, which is about 100,000 acres less than Bill Gates owns of agricultural land. but it has grown tenfold in the last decade. And, you know, when Richard Nixon opened trade with China back in the 70s, there was virtually no trade between the U.S. And look at where it is today. So I think what we're concerned about is the future and the future growth here.
Yeah, certainly quite a few changes over those decades. Retired General Inyart, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.